Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Liverpool Latest. I'm your host, Matt. As always, please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed today's content. Comment down below to get in on the conversation. And of course, never miss an upload by hitting the subscribe button now. It helps me out, it helps FanArch out. So do us a favor, come join the journey now. I've got some transfer news to talk about, as well as some pre-match analysis going into the FA Cup match with Barnsley in just a short period of time now. It feels like when this video will get uploaded. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I came across some articles today about mostly players name dropping Liverpool, saying that they want to join and that they really would like to play for the team, which is great news. It means that Liverpool are essentially a team that is desirable amongst free agents or people that would like to be transferred from their current clubs. One of those names happens to be one that I've already discussed on the show, and that is Jan Diomande, who is a part of Leipzig, 19-year-old prodigy, if you remember correctly. It's now official that he's publicly stated he wants to play for Liverpool, and through some very emotional and fan-driven comments during a TikTok live that he had. Though there are no evidence that Liverpool have been in any sort of talks with him, that Leipzig has been willing to sell in January, or that Slot himself is actively targeting him in this mid-season fixture here. The good news is that it's agent leverage and fan affection that might hopefully get him the deal, which is great because honestly, like the more I've done research on Diomande, the more I feel that he'd be a good fit. He's a young player, definitely would I think fit our system. I definitely think we need an influx of young players for sure, especially ones that are already becoming stars. I mean, look at Mbappe when he was younger. Who knew that the kid would be as big as he was? I think he was like, what, 20, not even 20 years old, and he won the World Cup with France. And now look at him playing for Real Madrid. I mean, granted, they just lost the Super Cup, Super Spain Cup against Barcelona, but it was a fantastic match. Don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic game. I watched the first half, and it was fantastic. But that is that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that someone who has been hyped up like Diomande has now actively said, hey, I want to play for Liverpool. So has Christos, and I'm going to butcher this last name, Solis. Zolis? I don't know. I guess that T might be silent. I'm going to say it like I would Simicast's name. But he is from Club Brugge. And who I've actually talked about before, because one of another prospect that we've had in the transfer window also plays for them as well. He has also had an excellent output in Belgium with goals and assists, and has explicitly says that he wants to join Liverpool, but there has been no concrete interest from the team. He doesn't expect a move in January, but mentions them in a very hypothetical way. So, if anything, this is a respectful name drop, not a admission to be transferred to Liverpool. So, how does Zolis fit Liverpool as of right now? If we were to sign him, let's do a little bit of fantasy booking, shall we? Belgian league output does not make instant Premier League impact. Let's make that perfectly clear. I mean, there's been plenty of players that have come from other leagues and don't make it as immediate of an impact. I mean, look at Wirtz, where he struggled for half the season trying to get the quality and the output and the creativity that we expected out of him. And now he's doing just that. I think he's doing a fantastic job. We're seeing what he did in Germany, and that is perfect. But that's not going to be the same way for everybody. It also doesn't help that Slot has prioritized a certain amount of tactical adaptability and physical reliability, and players who can handle low block systems immediately and Granted, that has been our problem much of this season. So is Solis someone that can do that? I have no idea. I don't know too much about the gentleman, to be frank with you. So if anything, it's showing that and I've said this before, that our January transfer window is being very selective and not so much opportunistic. I still think there are some moves that need to officially been made. I think the fact that it's taking as long as it is worrying me a little bit, because I certainly don't want a situation like the summer window. But at least it shows that names like these are saying Liverpool and saying, hey, at some point in time, that's a team I would like to play for. So it's becoming that we are a destination club, which could also be a bad thing, because it could just be something for players to get on their resume, play for 2 to 3 years, and if nothing happens to their liking, they can get the fuck out if they choose to. But I would be disappointed if that's the case. So I think the destination club aspect could go both ways. So either way, I do think the likelihood of either of these guys joining us in the January transfer window very low. But I'm going to say never say. I'm going to say never in the sense that we may never sign them at all. So I have hope that maybe something like that would happen, especially with Diomande, because the more I hear about him, the more good things, the more impressed I am with the young man. So I think we're going to need some sort of young prodigy, a couple of young prodigies, in order to in order to save our team eventually down the line when all of our big stars are gone. But here is another player eyeing Liverpool, and his name is Bradley Barcola. And again, someone I'm not particularly familiar with, but he does play for PSG. PSG, as we know, has been the the topic of a few episodes now, between Slot constantly mentioning them and the fact that their manager rumored to have rejected a big contract extension and could potentially be a candidate if Slot is fired at the end of the season. But just because he said the name Liverpool and that there's some smoke around does not mean that there is a fire yet. So obviously this is a story that originates from I'm going to butcher this too. Fichajes.net, which is not even like a remotely top 3 source. So there's been no corroboration from, David Osteen, or Ornstein, excuse me, Paul Joyce, Romano, or any reliable PSG source. So but he seems to be getting linked to Liverpool consistently, because people believe that he is a tactical fit for Slot with his explosive ball carrying, ability to stretch the low block, comfort in operating across the front line, and intensity and, pressing profile. So, that's someone that we could potentially look into. Do I think it's at all possible? I don't really know. It's something that, again, I'm not familiar with these players as much, but I'm fine with any, young player. This kid's 23 years old. He's in the prime of development and to peak transition. So if the kid is teachable, I certainly would like to have him on my team. And if he provides the output, definitely would be good as well. The only thing is, though, and this is where I find this a little interesting, where we could possibly acquire him, is that his role at PSG is no longer guaranteed. So it seems like the more players they acquire, the more that Barcola seems to be getting pushed to the back. And if he's getting pushed to the back, he may request a transfer, or whether it's in January or in the summer, and we just may have ourselves another signing on our hands. But of course, knowing that this is PSG, they're certainly they're certainly going to require a heavy sell price for us to acquire him, and the estimated fee that I am reading is anywhere between $70 and $90 million, which is more. They're looking for closer to the higher end of things. So think like mid to high 80s, 80 millions is where they're probably going to be leaning towards. So definitely not money to be spending in January. Definitely more of a summer type of move for sure. So we'll see what happens. And I think if Barcola is everything he says he is, I think he'll fit well with the team, especially if he apparently fits under Slot's tactics. But we also don't know if Slot has a job at the end of this season. So we are going to have to wait and see what happens with that, because let's be honest, anyone I've talked about with the transfer window, they could potentially not be interested anymore because they no longer see themselves as a tactical fit, depending on who gets the managerial job. And that's only if Slot is let go at the end of the season or at some point between this season and next. So I'm going to hold out any judgment there until I have a little bit more solidified feeling in who we have available as a manager, or who we have as a manager now. So that is what I will say about that. Let's talk about the FA Cup, shall we? Barnsley. Who the fuck is Barnsley? Shit, I ain't got no idea. But you know what? It's Liverpool all the way, man. I could give an absolute shit about Barnsley. It's a Premier League heavyweight versus a lower league opposition. And even with some of these teams defeating Premier League caliber clubs, I don't think Liverpool is going to be in that conversation, quite frankly. So I do not see us losing to Barnsley whatsoever. Of course, our objective in this match is to, keep the progression and the squad rotation. We obviously are going to not have our best guys there. They might be subbed on at some point during the match, but clearly the starting 11 is going to look a little different compared to what we are used to, which I will get to in a short period of time here. If Barnsley wants to beat us, though, they are certainly going to need to stay compact and frustrate us early, which shouldn't be too hard. We've been getting frustrated early all season, and turn the match into a low margin contest where if they can score the first shot, they might be able to win the match, because we've struggled with goals, and we're going to struggle with even more goals now because Cody Gakpo is really our only striker. So, man, I just don't want us to bottle this match like we did with the Carabao Cup. And you all know my feelings about the Carabao Cup if you've been here a while for Liverpool Latest. I think losing the way that we did was shameful. I think the product that we put onto the field was telling of that we were not going to compete, or at least Slot wasn't going to let us compete the way we would have wanted to. Because in my mind, regardless of what the trophy is a trophy. My hope is that Slot puts out a actual competitive starting 11 in order to, basically have everything that he's been working towards. We need to have that ball dominance, the territorial dominance, sustain pressure, but we also need to score fucking goals. That's what we need to do. And we're not going to do that with a bunch of academy players playing on the fucking field. With all due respect to them, as good as they could possibly be. But we're definitely going to need to stretch the low block, because we all know Barnsley's probably going to attempt that on us, and it's going to hurt. But if we could do it to Arsenal and come out pretty strong, we can probably be stronger against a weaker opponent like Barnsley. That said, let me be completely honest with you. I've said this before in the show, and I'll say it again. Anything can happen in football. The match is not over until the last whistle is blown by the referee. It does not matter what happens in between. Everything that happens in between from the first whistle to the last whistle is what's going to determine our destiny. Realistically, we should be winning this match. There is no way we shouldn't lose this match. If anything, if they even score a goal on us, it would probably be 1 to 2 goals. But realistically, we should be absolutely destroying Barnsley in this by a pretty solid margin. There's no reason for us to even concede, but given my starting 11, which I might as well get to right now, I mean, I've been talking about it for the last couple of minutes. Obviously, I do not expect Alisson Becker to be in the starting 11 as the goalkeeper. Mamardashvili will probably end up being in there, which just take the knife and put it in my heart now. Just put it in repeatedly, because as long as he's in net, I will never be secure in how we perform as far as trying to keep goals out of the net. Obviously, as far as defense goes, Frimpong, Konate, Gomez, because the last thing I want to see is Van Dijk get hurt in a game that against a weaker opponent. I think Gomez can probably be a good center for us. And Robertson. I'm going to throw Robertson in there too. He hasn't played a whole lot. I don't think Kirkes needs to play, frankly. I don't think Kirkes needs to be in this match. If he is in the match, it's a sub at best. And if he's a sub, he's definitely a sub in like the 85th minute of the game or something. But I think Robertson is going to be my guy on the left for this. Here is where the midfield gets a little sticky. Naoni, who has been having some issues. You know, I think he got hurt at one point. He also had a red card at some point during a previous match. So I'm a little iffy about him being in this, but at some point he's going to have to learn how to play on the team if he's going to be a part of this push. And you might as well put him in and see what he can do. Curtis Jones, I think that kind of goes without saying. He's probably would have been one of our more reliable midfielders as of recent. Again, as nuts as that is for me to say, I can only go by what I watch on the field, and Curtis Jones is easily one of the better guys. Dominic Szoboszlai, because why not? He's played every other fucking match for us on the field. Might as well throw him in this one too. Federico Chiesa. If he doesn't start this match, I am going to absolutely blow a fucking gasket. Because Slot, what the fuck would he be doing to not start him in this? Same with Rio. I got Rio in there too. You know why? Because Rio is a fucking young kid. He's a good player. Why the fuck is he not starting, or not starting, but why is he not playing more minutes for us in the Premier League, especially when you have options like Cody Gakpo, who is obviously my last pick in this, but because he has to be. We have no other strikers available at this point in time. So Chiesa, Rio, and Gakpo would probably be my front three in this, because there's really nobody else. There is no one else. If Slot doesn't even abide by the Chiesa and Rio picks, there is no saving those two. I would ask for a fucking loan or a transfer at that point, because there's no way that they'll ever see any sort of playtime or even development, if we're talking Rio here, if they're just going to keep him on the fucking sidelines all day. So, if anything, Barnsley in the FA Cup is a perfect way to have these players establish themselves, in my humble opinion. But what do I know? As I always say, I'm some asshole on the internet. But thank you guys for watching Liverpool Latest today. I appreciate the fact that you came by. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like and join in on the conversation by leaving a comment down below, and hit subscribe so that you never miss any one of our daily uploads. And I got a whole lot of back catalog for you if you want to watch those too. So thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one. Probably after the Barnsley match, because god damn it, if we don't win, we're certainly walking alone.